You're listening to the Travis Makes Money podcast presented by GoHighLevel.com. For a free 30-day trial of the best all-in-one digital marketing software tool on the planet, just go to GoHighLevel.com/Travis. What's going on, money makers? Welcome back to the Travis Makes Money podcast, where it's our mission to help you make more money. If you're new to the show, we release brand new conversations with unconventional money makers 7 days a week. So if you have not yet, please be sure to go to your podcast app of choice, including YouTube right now. Follow the show, subscribe there so you never miss out on an opportunity to learn how to make more money. Today on the show, we are talking about real estate and entrepreneurship with my new friends, Makena Zannini and Jen Dillard. They are the co-founders of Brick by Brick Collective, a business support company for real estate professionals. Jen has over a decade of real estate experience, which includes running a real estate team generating over $1 million in revenue, a real estate investment portfolio of over 700 doors, all while being a present mom and wife. Makena is a Wharton grad, if you ever heard of it, who built a multi-seven-figure business in less than a year before turning 30. Together, they bring the business and industry knowledge to help real estate professionals succeed. Makena, Jen, thank you so much for taking the time to join me on the show
Thanks
today.
for having us, Travis. Super excited to be here.
Let's go ahead and start off a question for both of you. All right, we'll start with Makena. We'll move to Jen. Tell me how you made your first dollar ever.
Oh, great question. I think probably like a lemonade stand, or maybe I used to make jewelry and sell it. That was probably maybe one of them.
So you're always a hustler, basically.
Always a hustler from when I was
Yeah,
little.
yeah. What about you, Jen?
So I grew up on a golf course and I would go like hunting for golf balls in the evening when the golfers were done. And I would collect like garbage cans full of golf balls. And then I would go sell them back to the golfers on the golf course for
Nice.
like $25 or 25 cents a ball.
Did the
And
golf course get mad at you?
no, they were, how could you get mad? I was
They
a cute
passed the
little
vibe check.
kid
Well, I
doing my
just
thing.
had somebody on the show this past week who told me the same story and then said
No
the golf
way.
course like was kicking him out all the time. And he was a little kid. I was like, man, that golf course did not pass the
I was
vibe
in
check.
my yard, so there's nothing we could really do about it.
Yeah, that's a little bit
Yeah.
different, a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, great. So now most recent dollar. So just tell me what you're up to now, Jen.
Yeah, so right now I'm still actively running a real estate team.
Okay.
And yeah, so that is going well. And then in addition to that, we are running Brick by Brick Collective, and it has grown super fast. So we're just enjoying helping real estate professionals to be able to leverage support and make more money. So
Let's talk the relationship side for a second here, because you guys obviously didn't grow up together. You met at some point and figured out you had some sort of common interest or commonality and then decided to start a business together. But business partnership to me is, I mean, it's just as serious as a marriage.
oh yeah.
You're working with somebody on a day to day basis. You have to work through complex problems. You have to have open and honest communication. You have to have mutual respect. Like there's so many similarities between this and a marriage. So, Makena, where and how did you meet Jen, and what made you consider a partnership with her?
Yeah, totally. Well, Jen and I had run in the same circles for a while. We have sort of like shared friends and connections, and I had followed her on Instagram. We live like an hour apart,
Okay.
or so.
And where are you guys based?
Oregon.
Or
I'm in Portland, and
Okay.
Jen's out in Hood River a little bit east.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Go ahead.
Um, and yeah, and I had always like really admired and respected Jen. And then there's sort of a funny, like small world experience where I was in the airport actually on a personal vacation, and Jen was like super sick and was speaking the next week and needed some like a slide deck made. And that's what my flagship company, one of the many things that it does. And so I saw her post on Instagram, like help SOS. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do her a solid, like, woman CEO to woman CEO, and had my team help her. She crushed it in the speaking engagement, obviously. And one thing led to another. So, but in terms of, I mean, I totally agree about the seriousness of a business partnership. And I think for me, what makes me confident about having Jen as a business partner is the like shared values. And I think about this in a marriage too. Like my husband and I are really different and bring different things to the table. And I think Jen and I are the same way. We have different skill sets, different ways of seeing things. But at the end of the day, we're both like keep our side of the street clean, like do the right thing, communicate openly type of people. And I think that's the type of stuff that ultimately keeps a marriage slash
yeah.
partnership together.
You're speaking my language. The relationship side, it comes down to the values piece, because if you're doing things correctly, you're going to change constantly all the time. Again, whether we're talking about business partnership or a marriage, friendship, whatever it is, in close knit relationships, if, like I said, if you're doing things correctly, you're going to change. So you can't get into partnerships with somebody because of who they are at that time, in terms of like what they do or their specialized knowledge or things like that. The value piece is the piece that remains constant. If you find somebody who has shared or similar values, then that's the piece that matters the most, because then you can work through the change. You can adapt and grow and learn together if you remain consistently open and honest, and you remain respectful, and but you still stick to these kind of core values. That is one of those massive pieces. So Jen, similar question for you. Obviously, the how you met and everything like that is different, but what made you be open to an actual partnership?
I admire Makena too. Like just knowing her story and where she came from and how has so much grit and has been through so much to get to where she is, but yet is like the most kind and has the best heart and just really values keeping her, like she said, keeping her side of the street clean and doing the right thing and having those hard conversations and like fighting for our team and fighting for standing up for me and for like there are times when I've been have had people take advantage of me or my time, my energy. And she's like, no, you don't, you're better than this. You don't need to let people do that and don't let people do, she's just stands up for me. So I think having a partner that's got your back and that also just really has that grit and that drive to be able to take it to where we want to take it's hard to find, Travis. Like honestly, it's really hard to find a partner that has all of those qualities. So
You are very right about that, which is why so many partnerships break up.
yeah.
And the business rarely survives those types of breakups. So
Well, I think people
anybody,
don't want to have those tough conversations because they're
yes,
hard. And McKenna and I have had them, like even early on, like just, hey, this hurt my feelings. You said this or this did, and just have those hard conversations, get them out of the way, and then move forward. So
everything you want in life is on the other side of a hard conversation.
That's so true.
Never going to go away.
yeah.
The only way to get through it is to actually go through it.
Right.
I'm just curious on the business side, Jen, for Brick by Brick Collective. It's a support company for real estate professionals. You are the one with kind of the real estate background here. What problem were you just noticing coming up over and over again that led you to eventually be like, we got to create a solution to this thing?
Such a good question. So I was in a position where I had in-house marketing, in-house operations, and I live in a small town and it's very hard to find, people with the skill sets that I need in order to get to where I want to be. Besides that, it's also extremely expensive to have in-house support staff for a real estate, a smaller real estate team. So we tried it and it wasn't working and, for many different reasons. And so I found myself in a position where I was wearing all of the hats again. I've been in business a long time. I felt like I was going backwards. I was wearing all the hats. I was so overwhelmed. And so I went looking for a solution of how do I keep my profit margins high, but make my stress levels stay low by having the support that I need in order to run my business. So I went searching for that solution, and McKenna just like popped up into my world again. We run in the same circles, but we didn't really have a strong like connection. And so um, she popped back into my life by offering to help me with that slide deck. And I was like, well, what else does your company do? And so I got to use the Boutique COO myself as a client first. And so I was using the services for operations, for marketing, and it really made such a big impact in my business that I went like this light bulb went off in my head and I went, oh my gosh, there are so many real estate agents that need this. I mentor real estate agents. I, speak to real estate agents. I'm surrounded by real estate agents in my life and everybody needs this.
Yeah.
So
What McKenna got you excited about the idea of not being in the real estate space?
Yeah, you know what? I think a couple things. One is I think I, in my flagship company, have seen all sorts of industries and supporting them. And I definitely have seen that a lot of people want support. They want to know that you get them. They want to know that you understand from lived experience and you can provide support that they don't have to train up. They don't have to like teach you about the experience or the industry. And so I think that really spoke to me, the idea of like, okay, what would it look like to take this sort of same idea that I had already developed, but then make it speak to a much more specific audience. I think on top of that, honestly, the fact that Jen has a lot of skill sets that I don't have. Jen is like the person who's just like, give me a mic. Like she just loves to talk to people. She'll talk to people all
Love
day
to
long. She
talk.
like make
Ask my
friends.
husband.
And her daughter's that way too, by the way. It's so cute. But I'm not that way at all. I'm like, you give me an idea, I'll make you $1 million. Will I stand up in front of 20,000 people? If I have to, but it's not my preference, you know?
Mhm.
And I think
Yeah.
that there's something really special about like someone who can like evangelize and talk about it, especially from lived experience. And that's just
Yeah.
something I never will be able to do it, and I'm okay with that, you know? But it's a really great combination. And so I was like, this makes total sense to me to start. And little did we know how much it would blow up. So,
Yeah. So how long have you guys been running the business now, Jen?
We have been running, so we had a goal of launching in February, or excuse me, in March. And February, just by word of mouth, we were already like fully up and running and
Wow.
had clients. And so um, by March, we were,
we hit
Cranking.
I,
launch day. We were like, well, happy launch day.
yeah, I mean,
Already
we were
launched.
already just fully launched and running. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
On the uh revenue side, did you guys have an idea of like what your offer structure looked like or price point looked like, or was that just kind of like, hey, we got some clients, what should we charge them?
Well, the benefit of like the way that we did this is that I already had developed all of the IP. So like
Mm,
all of the pricing strategy, all of like the how we pay the team, like all of that stuff was already in place. So it was actually never really was an issue because we
okay.
just kind of like took that same model. I like learned all the lessons the hard way in the first one, and now I kind of like know what works and what doesn't. So it's really meant to be pretty flexible and cater to different types of um, people, like stages of their business, the real estate business. And so we found that worked really well in my flagship, and we just kind of did the same with Brick by Brick.
This to me is another great example. I talk sometimes on the show about being the person that's selling the shovels in the gold rush.
Mm.
And whenever there's money being made in a certain sector, industry, niche, whatever it is, people tend to flock to that thing and then try to build the next cool thing from it.
Mhm.
So whether it's crypto or AI or whatever it is, it's like, man, it'd be super cool if we could go build the next chat GPT. Let's figure out what we need to do. And then I talked to a guy on the show a couple of days ago who's exited multiple 8-figure businesses and sells them to massive PE firms and different tech companies and stuff. And I was asking what he's up to now. He's like, oh yeah, we're looking at data storage facilities because with all the AI that's coming out, there's a real problem with data storage, and so we have to be able to have infrastructure that's going to support the volume of data that's going to be available over the coming years and whatever. And I was like, sell them the shovel. It's exactly what it is. And you guys are kind of
Yeah.
doing the same thing in real estate. Most people think about making money in real estate to be, well, I got to go be a real estate agent. I got to get my license. Got to go learn how to sell properties. Got to learn how to pitch clients. Got to learn all the ins and outs of being a real estate agent. It's like, well, or you can go to all the people that are mining gold and be like, hey, you need a better shovel,
Yeah.
and this is one of those things that helps support a massive industry with a lot of people who have a ton of dreams about making good money, but in reality 95% of them will never earn more than 10 grand or something like that in commissions. And this is probably one of the main reasons why they get into real
It
estate, because they think they have like a good personality for it, or they might be a good salesperson or something. But as they don't realize, they're like, oh, there's actually a lot of other heavy lifting that has to go into this transaction, and you
Absolutely.
guys help solve that problem.
Yeah, I mean, so many real estate agents don't realize that you're going to have to run your books. You have to run it like a business if you want
Right.
it to be a business. And so, marketing and social media, that's a whole animal. And you could spend a ton of money on courses and learning it and learning how to do YouTube and learning how to do everything, or you could delegate that to someone who already knows how to do that
Hmm.
and have them run it for you.
So is
And
that part of your guys' offer, Sweet McKenna? Can you kind of just walk me through exactly what you do for an agent?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we do outsourced business support for real estate professionals. So it's for agents and team leads and brokerages, as well as investors, developers, any sort of real estate services, title, escrow, etc. Um, and I think of it in four buckets. So there's operations. So if you need an EA, if you need a VA, if you need your CRM set up, if you need any kind of like operational administrative support, that's the first bucket. The second is marketing, which is obviously very broad, but we have, brand and web, paid ads, social media, funnel building, all that good stuff. We do your books, finance, fractional CFO, and bookkeeping is the third bucket. And then the fourth is transaction coordination as well.
Wow.
Um, and so, yeah, it really is meant to be sort of equipping, real estate professionals to be, like Jen said, like be CEOs, be
yeah.
business owners. Hmm.
What's your goal with the business, Jen? Where do you want to take this ideally?
I think that we just want to continue to help as many real estate agents as possible. Obviously, we want to continue to grow this, and in the future, maybe there's other industries that we can help as well. So, but first we want to continue to build McKenna's flagship company and really nail down being able to support businesses. And I think that we've got it down to a science, but um yeah, and then just land and expand. What else can we do? Who else can we help?
Are you at all worried, or not? Maybe worried is the incorrect word, or just um, concerned or spending time thinking about the real estate industry at all in terms of, with the buyer's agent commission thing with NAR, and then, different software companies that are coming out that are doing a lot of heavy lifting and getting a lot of data. Is there anything that you're feeling in that industry as like a squeeze, or something that makes you think that maybe in the future it may not be as good as it's been in the past?
I'm not. I think there's always going to be a need for real estate agents. Yes. I mean, I think that certainly AI has, you can either be scared of it or you can use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's two worlds of thought there, but um I'm not afraid. I think that the buyer's agent commission, again, it's just having the right conversations. Um, that hasn't been a concern. It hasn't been an issue for us here on our team. And I think that there's always going to be a need for real estate agents, and then there's always going to be a need for support.
Yeah.
So, like, one person can't do everything.
Well,
So,
and the investing side definitely isn't going away anytime soon. It's still made more millionaires than anything else in history. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
McKenna, tell me, if you were starting over today, what type of business would you get into?
Honestly, I would do services again and again and again,
Hmm.
again and
Okay.
again and again. Okay, so this made me, when you're talking about the shovels, I could get on a soapbox about this, so I will try to refrain myself.
Please
But
do.
I when you're talking about selling the shovels in the gold rush, I think this resonated so much with me because I think what I see out there right now is everybody wants to have an app. Everybody wants to have passive income. Everyone wants to like have a course and sell it and make $1 million while they're sitting on the beach. Like, of course, obviously, who doesn't want to sit on the beach and make $1 million? Like, duh. But I think what's happening is you've lost a lot of good service providers who now just want to pursue this like passive income like
Mm.
pipe dream and want to
Yeah.
go the AI, the tech, the courses, the automated this, that, and the other. And consumers hate it. Like almost every person we talk to is like, I want to be spoken to by a human. Yeah, I'm okay
Yeah.
with automations. I'm okay with, AI in a smart way, but
Yeah.
tired of being tried to forced into these boxes of the pre-made course and the pre-made app and the pre-made all these things.
Yeah.
And I think
One
it's
size
sucked
fits all.
away.
That actually doesn't fit all.
It
Yeah.
fits no one. One size fits all fits no one, right? And so I think it sort of sucked away a lot of good service providers in this pursuit. And now there's this like vacuum in the service world. And I feel like I could make service businesses all day and make tons of money
Yeah.
because it's not that hard. It's very hard in a lot of ways, but The business model is not hard.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
charge something, you pay someone else a little bit less, and you take the middle, right? Like that's the service model. But it's hard to do because you have to deal with people, and people don't want to deal with people anymore. And
Very
I
true.
just think I'm thrilled because I'm like, there's a ton of runway for us to
Yeah.
do it better, give people better experiences as a service consumer, and to make money on a business owner level too.
What also is, I mean, directly in line with your skill set. Like
Totally.
running a service-based business requires an operational mind to set the whole thing up. I
Totally.
drove myself crazy running my own service business without having somebody to do that stuff for me because it's just not my personality type. I was so focused on like getting clients or whatever. And then it was
Yeah.
like, oh, we got to like deliver for them now. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you can't just get them in the door. You know what I mean? So somebody with your skill sets, I mean, that is a really, I mean, it's a perfect area for you to focus in on. What about scalability, McKenna? Do you ever have any concerns with service businesses in terms of their ability to scale with just typically low margins?
Yeah, totally. I I think that you just have to be really, I think there's two things. One is I think you have to be open and proactive about automation. When I think about like the biggest cost bucket, it's the fixed cost to run the day to day, right? And so, like for example, we are building an internal tool that's going to save us like literally hundreds of thousands of dollars just this year alone because it's going to automate some of these processes that just take time to run the back end of a business, right? If you think about even like a roofing company, it's like the making of the quote and then the following up with the client if they're going to get the quote and then the scheduling and all that stuff. Like you can automate a lot of that. And so we're doing a custom tech build to handle that. And I think you have to be willing and open to like, what does it look like to keep your fixed costs down? I also think you have to hold a really high standard for the people who are working for you. Because when I see people crash and burn in services, it's either they're not delivering, and that's usually because the people that they're the contracting out the work to or relying on to deliver the service are not being held accountable for doing a good job.
Yeah.
Or you hold on to fixed cost people on your team, like leadership team members or whatever, because there's obviously an emotional component. No one likes firing people. No one likes, having those tough conversations, but that's gonna like run you into the ground if you have an overhead that you can't sustain and that you're not getting productivity out of. So I have a very like fiercely loyal, but also very high expectations culture for the team that I lead. And it's worked really well.
I love the services business for especially people that are looking just to get started in entrepreneurship because it teaches you so much about about how a business operates and works, and it enables you to start thinking about each of the business buckets. With HR and finance, and we have marketing and sales, and we have people and operations. And we have all these different buckets, and you have to dial them all in order for you to be able to make a service business work. However, the awesome thing about it is that there's zero barrier to entry. You don't have to spend 2 years in research and development coming up with a product that solves a problem. It's just you can start working with people right now today and just either do it for free or do it for a fraction of what you really want to be able to charge for it, and then work out all the kinks while you're working with people and making money doing it. It's a perfect segue for people who are looking to jump into full-time entrepreneurship or business at some point as the service-based businesses, regardless if it's online agency work or it's plumbing, brick and mortar type work. Like that, people will always need things done for them. So if you can figure out a way to make that work, there's always going to be money on the table. And then if you want to scale it, you can scale it. But maybe your whole thing is like, I just want to get out of my job. Cool. We'll start a services business, get your income up to 6 to 8 grand a month, and then reinvest a little bit of money into building the product that you really wanted to build. But now you have some money to work with because the services are always going to be needed. And Jen, that's basically what you did in real estate as well. Like real estate is nothing but a service for people. So you guys are both stepping into that problem. I appreciate you guys for taking the time to come on the show today. I know you have a bunch of other things to do. Jen, I know you're a little bit under the weather, which I can't even tell. I wouldn't have known if you didn't tell me that at the outset of this. So thank you guys both for showing up to this. Let's move into the last segment here, sponsored by High Level. If you're an entrepreneur listening and you want an all-in-one CRM marketing solution as a software service, then go to gohighlevel.com/Travis for a free 30-day trial. I've used a ton of other softwares in the past. This is easily the most capable and customizable of all of them. Super, super simple to use. So 30-day trial, gohighlevel.com/Travis. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. We'll do Makena and then Jen on each of these questions. All right.
Ready.
All right. What profession other than your own do you think that it would have been fun to master?
I would love to be a therapist.
Jen?
Fashion.
If you could sit on a park bench with someone, past or present, and chat for an hour, who would it be?
Oh gosh. Maybe like Whitney Wolf Herd.
Jen?
My grandpa.
Oh.
How do you like to consume information best? Books, audiobooks, blogs, podcasts, YouTube videos?
Podcasts all the way.
Audiobooks.
All right. And give me a favorite of each of those.
I am a big Today Explained girl.
Jen, what's a good audiobook?
Oh gosh, I'm really into Mel Robbins' Let Them right now. It's so good.
What is your go-to pump-up song?
Oh, Alien Superstar by Beyonce. I even have a tattoo for it.
Wow, that was fast.
Okay. Anything Lizzo.
Mm.
Lizzo's my girl.
What is something that you are not very good at?
Cooking.
Did you say cooking?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said something else. Something that I am not very good at. Patience.
Love it. Love it. Thank you guys so much for doing this. Where can people go to get more from you as we get everything wrapped up here?
Yeah, they can find us on Instagram. Our names are our handles, so super easy. And our business is at Brick by Brick Collective, and we're at brickbybrickcollective.com as well. Thank you for having us.
Yes,
Yeah,
thanks, Travis.
of course, brickbybrickcollective.com. If you're in the real estate space, you're an investor, you're an agent, whatever your day-to-day is in that world, go check out Brick by Brick Collective so that you can make your life easier, people. I mean, they exist to make your life easier so that you can focus on the things that you're really good at. So go hit them up at brickbybrickcollective.com. Makena, Jen, thank you so much for taking the time to share with us today on the show. Everybody else listening, remember, money only solves your money problems, but it is a little bit easier to solve the rest of your problems if you got some money in the bank. So let's solve that problem first here on the Travis Makes Money podcast. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll catch you next time. Peace out.